Well, it is the middle of the winter holiday season, and as usual, I'm a little bit behind, but I'm not going to beat myself up about that. That's okay. I wanted to show you my holiday cards, and that's what I'm going to be vlogging about today. I don't have time to hand stamp a whole bunch of cards, well, carve a new design, then hand stamp a bunch of cards. I mean, I could do it, but I'm not going to stress myself out about that, and I want to pay my attention more to vlogging and sharing with you guys. But for instance, last year, this was the card that I sent out, and it fits perfectly on a 4x6 index card, and it was one stamp. And I love this style, and I want to keep doing more of this, but I don't really have time, and that could be another vlog. What I'm gonna do is stamp out a mistletoe bough, and a very simple basic one, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. And then I'm gonna upload it to one of our local drugstore Photoshop print shops, and I'm gonna use Walgreens. Now, I certainly could go to Zazzle or some of the other print-on-demand places, but I wanna make this more universally accessible to people, so use your local drugstore print shop, see what they have online for their designs, and design yours around that. A couple of years ago, I did a card too. This one I had stamped out my own design, and then I uploaded it to their Photoshop. I used their lettering, and I sort of designed the card around this style. Now, it's not perfect, I think, you know, the balance of everything, but I just went with it, and I think it turned out really nice. What I'm talking about are the cards where the whole background is the photograph, and then their lettering goes on top of it. It makes it much easier for you to just throw your design on something. You don't have to worry about the font, the typography, the lettering. You just let them do it and use what they have and create your own artwork. It's a good idea. And one of the things that Walgreens is offering this year is the gold foil embellishments and lettering. It's also in gold, silver, and rose gold. So I'm going to use that design for my Happy New Year card. Since I don't know whether or not these cards will be printed in time for Christmas, I'm just going to do Happy New Year, and I'm very excited about 2020, so that's what I'm going to focus on. And I don't think that you'll be able to see the card before the end of this vlog, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be delivered before I end up uploading this vlog. So check out the future vlogs and my Instagram. 2 years ago, I took a class from Victoria Johnson called Create Christmas 2017, and it was a class for designers and illustrators where she presents 3 briefs for design, and they all have a theme and they all have a color story. And I was really enjoying I enjoyed all of them. Her classes are great, and I'll leave a link down below for you to follow. But one of the color palettes were these real rich jeweled tones of greens and blues. And as I was mixing the palette and trying to find the right paint colors that I was going to use for this design, I ended up testing out all of my paints on my art table paper, like you guys saw in my last vlog, and the whole table surface became this painted expression. And of course, I couldn't just leave that. I had to turn it into a collage. And that's what I did. I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. I'm kind of wondering if I ever even submitted it to the class on the Facebook group. And I sort of revisited that color palette the other day, and I started mixing these paints again and spreading them around and painting with them on my art table paper. And here I go again. I have another piece that's going to be similar to this other one, and I will show you this final collage in this same theme, same color palette, at the end of this vlog. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, let's get started and stamp out some mistletoe boughs. Very simple. You guys are gonna love this. Here you can see I was experimenting with different styles and different orientations of branches and how they work. And it's all done with this one stamp. And I just think it's so clever and fun. This is stamped on finger paint paper. I like to use finger paint paper because it's super smooth and it's super cheap. I mean, not just affordable, it's just cheap. And it comes in these big sheets and I love that. But it also gives a nice crisp, clear image when you're stamping with dye ink. I've stamped it here on marker paper, and as you can see, it's not as vibrant. I still love marker paper, but to get the most detail, I think stamping on the glossy paper is the best. And this is a little sample I tried out. I stamped out the leaves, and then I stamped out the little tiny little berry. This has been chewed on by my dog, clearly. And it's just a simple little circle with a tiny little niche taken out of it. Here you can see where I was stamping the 3 different colors on the berries, and I kind of got carried away with it. You do see the detail in it though. It does make a difference. And it looks better than just stamping one single color, I think. So we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna show you how I do this. But first, I'm gonna show you how I stamp out the, I keep wanting to say holly bough, but it's a mistletoe bough. I don't even know if it's a bough. I don't know. So I have this one stamp, and let me mount it first. The way I mount stamps is I use double stick tape, and it's very sticky at the beginning. So I'm gonna put it on my shirt several times, maybe even a paper towel to get some of the sticky off, because a lot of that sticky is gonna end up stuck to the back of my stamp, which happens to all of them, but I just wanna take it down a little bit. So I'm gonna put it on my acrylic mount. Okay, I'm ready to go with my stamp, but what I've also done is prepared a few masks. So I stamped this leaf onto a Post-it. I chose a Post-it that's completely sticky on the back with the exception of this one little bar. And then I cut it out. I cut 2 of them out, and they're gonna be masks for my design as I build this branch. And I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna start at the top, and I'm going to make sure my ink is really, actually I should re-ink this ink pad, but I'm gonna just go with it for now. I'm gonna start at the top, and it's gonna be the little branch that you would tie the ribbon around, the little part that sticks up out of the top, the ends. And I'm trying, I wasn't very successful there, trying to get this right up next to the other one. Let's try this again. It helps if you turn your head down to the side or tilt your head down underneath and sort of take a look at where you're going. And that still wasn't great, but I'm gonna stamp right on top of it. And hopefully, yeah. This is where practicing really does help. That's why I did several of them. But now I'm gonna use one of these masks. And I think I will put one there, and I'll put one here, and I'll stamp in the background because it will look like it's behind it because of the mask. So that helps fill it in a little bit. And I'm gonna just keep building this design this way. You don't have to use the mask. It is a better, more controlled way to stamp the design because the stamp can only go in one direction, but you can move the stamp in many directions. And let's see here. This is where I want it to start coming out to the side a little bit to give the feel of mistletoe. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, right down the middle. And I think one more off to the side and that'll be good. There you go. This just gives you an idea of how to build the branch, and I think that looks good. So we're going to move on to the berries. Okay, this is one of the smallest stamps in the world, but it's very effective. And since mistletoe berries are white, I'm going to pretend that this is white by stamping with gray and a very, very pale green, which is called New Sprout. This is London Fog. These inks are by Memento. And I'm also going to use a little bit of blue, and I'm going to use that with markers. I wasn't sure which blue to use, so I was testing them out here. This one's the lightest, so I'll use that one. I think if I just were to stamp with gray or green, it wouldn't give it as much dimension. Well, I'll show you. If I stamp with green, doesn't really do much. I could stamp with gray. That's okay, that looks good, but I'm gonna go for a little bit more detail and see if this translates once I get this uploaded to the card company. All right, in my other videos, you've seen me before, and you're gonna see me do this again and again, put multiple color inks on one stamp, and this is a pretty tiny stamp to be doing that, but we're gonna do it anyway. And I'm gonna start with this very, 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 very pale green, and I'm gonna load it up completely. And then I'm gonna take this blue and just sort of just put it on one of the sides there. And if I were to mark off this marker, I want to keep it clean as I'm doing this because I don't want this marker to end up with green in it. So I'll sort of clean that off after each application on the stamp. And now I have this gray, and I'm just going to roll the edge of the mistletoe berry around the edge of the ink pad, and I'm going to stamp. You can really see the detail with the 3 different colors. Seriously? Oh my gosh. This is a great day to film, by the way. Okay, so this happens periodically. I've glued my stamps onto these corks with E6000, and E6000 is a great glue, a great permanent glue, but it's not always so permanent. And this is what's happening here. I've been using a different glue to glue my stamps on most recently, and that's Gorilla Glue, but I'm gonna hopefully not mess with this anymore and just let it stay in place, and we'll keep going. Yikes. So the problem is when I roll it on the edge, I press too hard and I just removed it right off of the cork. And I think I'm done here. So you get the idea, but you can really see the detail of the multiple color inks on those little berries. So I could connect these little berries with, let's see, some kind of either a marker line. My little sample here got wet when my spill happened. But you can see here I connected the berries with these little pencil lines. They looks okay. I think just for the playfulness aspect, I'm gonna just let the berries float and leave them. I am, however, going to draw a little bow, and I'm gonna Photoshop it on top. I could draw it right on top of here, but the way things are going today, I'm going to bypass that step and go right to a safer step, which is I'll Photoshop it in. So the next thing I'm going to do is draw a bow. One of the good things about drawing the bow is you don't have to worry about it being perfect. If the bow isn't perfect, I can draw another one. Oh, that's not even realistic. Let's do this. Let's make that a little bit bigger. And you can practice many times. Oh, this is really not even, this is this is sad. Okay, see? You can you don't have to get it perfect on the first time. So let's start over. This guy was pretty good. Maybe I'll just scan him in. Oh, brother, this is getting worse. You guys. I thought about carving a bow stamp, and after these two, I'm really glad I didn't. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna try. This one looks pretty good. I don't know what I'm doing. I think it's the angle I'm sitting. I can't really. Let's see if I can rearrange myself. All right, let's try a different pencil. Maybe that's the problem. So I'm just gonna do a little middle knot here, kind of round it off a little bit. Not gonna think too much about it. I think that's what I'm doing. I'm just giving it way too much effort. All right, that's more. I do want it to look sketchy and sketchy. I do want it to look sort of sketch-like and have that handmade feel. Okay, I think I can use that one. I might scan this one in too and see if I can get that one. But you guys get the idea. Just, you can draw these as many times as you like and find the ones that work for you. So I'm going to scan these in. Actually, I'm not going to scan them in. I'm going to just shoot them with my camera and put them in Photoshop and pull out the background and go from there. This one here is a little messy at the top. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet. I might go with this one. I think I will. I think it's the most balanced. And I might just try to use the same berries here. I could Photoshop other berries and get the just right ones, but these seem to work okay. So I think we're going to be good. Let's do this. Well, as you can see, I've already covered the paper with paint and stamping. So it's gonna take on a life of its own, but first, well, these are some of the other, I will show you this. Let's zoom in here a little bit. These are some of the pieces that I was trying to work through. Not a fan of that. I mean, no, that's not true. I actually like this a lot, but it's definitely not finished. None of these are finished. This I liked a lot. I like a lot about this, and it's definitely not finished. It's gouache and stamping. Gouache and stamping. I liked this until I added the snowflakes, so meh. And I don't even know what this is going to be. We'll see, if anything. and a little piece of my sketchbook. None of these are finished. None of these are finished. But they're a reference to the palette that I used in Victoria Johnson's Create Christmas 2017. See, I even wrote it in my little, this is a color sketchbook I have. Color storybook where I keep track of colors in classes where I had palettes that were assigned. So yeah. I've decided that I'm going to carve a dove stamp, and I don't really have a lot of time because this week is running out of time and it's already Monday. So I think it's because I decided to do cookies, and I got to get stuff done with vlogging and cookie making, and I think I might just put the cookie making in my vlog too, so we'll see. So I carved this dove and I'm pretty happy with it. I like it better with the gray color, so that's what I'm going to use for this collage. Now, I told you that I found some old work that I had worked on in this class called Create Christmas by Victoria Johnson in 2017, and this was a piece that I did from it that it never got finished, clearly, and I think I'm going to finish it now. So here we go. I've got some leaves that I stamped. These are holly leaves that I stamped with 2 different color inks, and you can see the effect of that. And it doesn't even have to be perfect. It just adds a nice design element to it. And I've got my dove, and I've got a little flower, and I'm probably going to use this tree and collage on here with some ink and some paint and finish it up. So let's do this. So this is the collage that I worked on for that class. And as I was pulling it out, I tore it, but oh well, that sort of stuff can get fixed in Photoshop. In the design, or in the color palette, she had gold metallic as one of the colors, and I only added a little bit. But this is just, this is just a sample, a work in progress. Well, not in progress anymore, but just a explorative piece. Well, things don't always go as planned, so that's okay. That's why we have Photoshop. That's why we are allowed to be creative without having to make any excuses or explanations. But it was fun. It was part of the process, is learning and experimenting and trying to see what works and what doesn't, and tearing up big pieces of art like I did. I have a lot more ideas. You guys join me for the next vlog because my cards will be in and you'll get to see them. I actually ordered 2 different styles. And what else do I want to tell you? Oh, also, I'm going to be doing Christmas cookies. I just decided this morning. I thought it was going to be the season where I wasn't going to be doing them, but apparently a lot of people like them. So I am going to be doing cookies. So you guys, it's probably going to be in next week's vlog and some other things too. So I think we're going to carve some stamps. I don't know. It's getting busy. It's getting crunch hour this week, so we'll see what happens. But thanks for watching, and if you like this video or you like my channel, subscribe so you know when I have more studio vlogs coming, and give it a thumbs up. And thanks for sharing, and check out my Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.